Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, internet bots we pay so much money to bump up the numbers of this stream. Welcome to another episode of the Whisky Roundtable. Once again, it has been a huge week. It doesn't feel like 7 days since we were last here. That's because we went 15 minutes later this weekend, and we've been drinking for 15 minutes longer before we went on live today. There are some numbers down tonight. I feel outnumbered because things are not correct. Where's Milne? We don't know. He's still on his travels. We tried to get him on a phone with some little headphones in to get things. He has no reception. No one knows where he is. The hashtag Where's Milne will continue throughout tonight. Where's Bailey? Bailey's cheating on us. He's at Webster's Bars down in Newtown, pouring some booze, drinking some piss, being happy. Still got a shit haircut. That's never going to fly with him. We have Alex Dahlenberg coming in hot from the media tasting of the Boutique Whisky Australian series, which we might talk about. We might not. Who cares? We're going to answer all the questions, but maybe not the important ones this week. But it is a veritable takeover. I feel outnumbered by the enigmas that are Crafty and the Todd. Who are they? Where do they come from? What do they do? We don't really know. I like to say hello to my friends at Disney this weekend, because that is definitely not a Death Star, and we're definitely not stealing your IP. So, Disney, if you're watching, fuck off. Apart from that, I'd like to kick off this stream, pull this X-Wing away from its cabin by asking everyone on the stream, everyone listening on the Facebook, the YouTube, all the weird places that we tend to get comments from. Ladies and gentlemen, what is in your glass tonight?
Scotty, whatever you're selling, I'm buying.
As long as it's not himself.
Yeah.
So that's oakbarrel.com.au. Buy, part, checkout, purchase is what you can do there.
And the refund will be issued within 2 to 5 business days.
It's none of that. I'll take your money, but I need written reasons by mail for refunds, and I'll send it back to you by banker's transfer.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, that's obviously a lie, by the way. I'm on my last red wine. I've got a lineup of whiskey here, so by the time we go through the round table, I should be back to me. Alex, what's in your glass tonight?
I'm nearly whiskied out, but I have just seen I have some grumpy old man on a hill from our wonderful distillery we're playing with tonight. I also, fuck you, Scotty, got sent a T-shirt.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
Hang on, is this the first time we've all been in the right distillery's T-shirts that we're interviewing?
When you say all, me and you, yes.
And actually, Mr. Matt Bailey, he got a free T-shirt. Damn, that cost me for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And so did Milne. So damn, there's 2 T-shirts I can't sell.
we can add you to the sponsors list tonight. So before we jump on, a quick g'day to Jimmy Finnegan, to Whiskey's My Jam, to Lee White, John Jarvis of friend of the stream, John Jarvis. Kai Lane say, hey, it's Crafty Field. Friend of yours, Crafty, part of the Crafty fan club.
I'll take it.
But James Finnegan is on Capite release number 3 is what is in glass tonight.
Very nice.
Ooh.
Very nice. Very nice.
Lovely.
So, Crafty the Todd, are you going to one-up him? What's in your glass?
Oh, something pretty special tonight, my friend. So I decided to pull out two weapons of whiskey. So
From
Lara,
a weapon in whiskey as well.
Yeah, it's pretty damn awesome whiskey, and something very special from my very good friend Aisling. So this is the Tawny Port.
Aisling.
Yeah. You'd think I'd get that right, wouldn't you? And there's a tube.
On this stream, we've been pulled up on the pronunciation, so we're quick becoming experts.
Yeah.
He changed it a couple of years ago just to screw with us. But
I cannot wait to get down there.
Sorry?
I cannot wait to get down there. I'm super excited that, from 15 minutes from where I lived when I was a child growing up, there's a fucking distillery now. I'm super excited. And there's a big malt house.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get down there.
No, me too. I'm going down there probably in about 2 months.
I'll meet you there.
Little wee Voyager project going on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be, there goes my light, definitely be getting into catch up with Burnsy and Michelle and see what they're up to. And tasting their Riverina rum, which is going to be released very shortly.
Wow, that's super exciting.
They're not mucking around.
Saw a photo of that Riverina rum. Looks good. Good labelling, good packaging. Can't drink packaging, though. Lucky the juice is good. Todd, what's in your glass, mate?
Same. We're sharing.
It's a cheap date.
No, he's an expensive date. He's drinking all your whiskey.
Actually, you're right. He's an expensive date.
Hang on. I work really hard.
Oh, here we go. Did you think he's on the payroll?
So I heard, Todd, that you get paid in whiskey.
I do get paid in whiskey.
That is just the best currency in the world.
That's right. It's one of the best perks of working in the distillery.
Tell him about the special cask.
Hang on. Before we get there, can we talk about who you guys are and where the hell are you from and why the fuck you're sitting here talking to us on a Wednesday night?
Okay. All right. So my name is Craig.
Is that your real name?
That's my real name.
I'm kidding.
And then many years ago, someone called me Crafty. Actually, I think it was Smitty who called me Crafty.
Oh, Smitty.
And I went, no.
You sure it was Crafty and wasn't something else?
It was Crafty. Yeah, exactly. And it sort of stuck. So Crafty. So I actually introduced myself as Crafty from Craftworks Distillery. And we're out at Capity, which is halfway between Lithgow and Mudgee. Capity is a dot on the map. It's not a village. It's a dot on the map. We have a servo. We have a school. We have an RFS, thank God. And we have the Royal Hotel. So we're at the back of the Royal Hotel. It was a 60 square metre shed. It's now a 120 square metre shed. So it's luxury.
So what you're saying is it's 2 sheds now?
Without a wall. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. But it's presenting challenges because one shed's insulated and one shed's not. And I was in the shed this week just quickly, and it was 3 degrees, and part of the shed was quite a bit warmer than the other half of the shed. So, the Capity, yes. So Craftworks, that's us. What else would you like to know about Craftworks? Independent bottling, that's where it started, and also been distilling for the last 3.5 years.
Fantastic. What about yourself, Todd?
How I got into this was
you got roped into it.
Roped into it? No. Kathy, my wife, who's now our reality check manager.
Sorry?
Kathy, my wife, who's
I heard that bit.
Our reality check manager. She's got a special title and it's used quite often.
There's 2 opposing forces in Craftworks. There's my wife, Andrea, who's Mrs. Crafty, and there's the reality check manager, which is Todd's wife. So Todd and I will go, hey, how about? And then reality kicks in. So sometimes we get away with things, sometimes we don't.
Holy shit, I need one of them in my life.
So roughly...
Mainly towards my choice in boyfriends, but yeah.
Roughly 20 years ago, my wife and Crafty worked together.
Yeah.
That's how we made the connection. And then... was it 2 years to come out 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
We sort of reconnected, and Crafty had started in his shed and needed someone to help.
Mm-hmm.
I was the someone to help.
Oh,
and you had nothing better, like the internship at like insurance companies and lawyers were gone, so you thought, I'll do the internship at the whiskey distillery instead?
I think everyone needs a little hobby, and this is a pretty good hobby.
Oh, no, not a hobby. Todd was, I was the apprentice distiller. So I only recently decided I'd done my time and I could call myself a distiller. I used to call myself an apprentice distiller. So he was the apprentice's apprentice distiller. So now he's the apprentice distiller.
I've been promoted.
He's been promoted.
I want to say some quick g'days to Derek Mather says, g'day Crafty, mate, to Emma Gilligan.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Emma Gilligan from down south in Tassie. Nice and warm down there. Dan Hoper says, only the best for the Todd. A really big shout out to big, bad, bustling Basamelia. Hi, everyone having a space. I was thinking about Scotch Whisky Linkwood tonight, mate.
Oh, fuck.
Good minds think alike. You, me, and Dave Brew, mate. Greatest distillery in the world.
And everyone else, you just spruik it louder.
Yeah, I'm very loud. David and/or Caroline Taylor saying g'day, and Colby Whale, who is a friend of the stream, friend of the distillery, says looking forward to our next visit to the shed.
Well, he's only just come recently. God, that's a bit pushy.
Yeah. Is it one of those situations if you go to the shed like quite often, you get like the buy 5 coffees, get the 6th one free? Is that sort of like buy 6 visits, get the 6th visit free?
It's a bit like that. We do get a lot of drop-ins, which is great. We love it. In all seriousness, we love it. I mean, last week had Brian Restall from Lord Byron in the shed, which was awesome, and had Dot and Tony from Jones and Smith Distillery out Spring Hill, which is actually my nearest distillery. So yeah, that's cool. From the Cooperage, Mr. Youngie.
We have real Australian whiskey royalty on the stream now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. A very good friend of myself and a very big part of Craftworks and the journey we're on, for sure. Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about that journey. You said you started out as independent bottling. My first interactions with you were at, I think, the Oak Barrel Whiskey Fair and a couple of little whiskey tastings around. That would have been about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that would have
been.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey into whiskey. So pre-independent bottling to now making your own. Where did you start out, and where was the love of whiskey? Where did the love of whiskey come from with you?
Okay, that's an easy one for me. So I hope the rest of the questions are as easy as that. So
I'll find one.
Yeah, I'm sure. So it all started back in early 2000. I had a very good friend of mine called Derek Taylor, and he loved whiskey. And as much as he loved whiskey, I hated it with a passion, absolute passion. Just couldn't entertain it in any shape or form. Anyway, he was badgering me. So I said, all right, fuck, I'll go and buy a bottle. And he said, just stick with it, just try it, and you'll get to like it. And all I remember is I bought a bottle, and it was a green one, and I think it was either a Lefroy or something along those lines. And I remember I didn't like it at all. It was really horrible. It took me ages to kill it off with Coke, I think, from memory. So then
it enhances the flavor profile. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I don't want to go smoky cokey with expensive whiskey. No. So and then unfortunately, Derek passed away, and he had a massive coronary and passed away. And he was a man he loved the finer things in life. He loved good food, good wine, good whiskey, and that. And when he passed away, his family thought I was a whiskey lover, and I wasn't at all. But they gave me his bottles that he had at home, his little private collection. And one night I was sitting down, feeling emotional, and I lined up all his whiskey bottles, and I was just tasting a bit out of each of them. And I remember going, wow, this is like wine. They're all different. So that was the very start of my curiosity. It piqued my curiosity, and I went out there and started to explore a bit. So that was sort of the spark of my interest in whiskey. The thing that was the ignition was I went to a master class run by Vintage Cellars in the town, and they had this distillery I'd never ever heard of called Brooklady, and they had this guy up the front, and he was a brand ambassador. I can't remember, Andrew something, I think it was. And this guy just spoke with so much passion, and it was such a just awe-inspiring event that I just fell in love with Brooklady. And that's, for me, to this day, is just one of my favorite distilleries, and I'm tied to Brooklady. And that, from there, it was just an exploratory through Brooklady, because as far as I was concerned, every flavor profile you wanted was within Brooklady. And back then I started, my first whiskies were Octomore 1 and Supernova 1. I remember buying it in Annandale and sitting down, going side by side and going, which one wins? And I went peated, and then over the years I sort of softened my taste.
Whoa. No, you can't get away with that.
What?
That's a question for the ages. Pick a side, Octomore 1 or Supernova 1.
Oh, I know where I'm at.
Yeah, I know that as well.
I think from memory, it was Octomore. From memory, I think it was Octomore.
Scotty?
I'm Supernova.
Are you?
Yeah.
I am 1.1, like, to the death.
See, for me, and I don't mind Octomore, but Port Charlotte is like got so much more roundness and complexity.
Yeah,
I think it's got a lot more depth.
Like Octomore is just is yelling at me for the sake of yelling at me. Whereas
Octomore's got lighter over the years, don't you think? It's become more. I don't know. There's a different flavor profile.
I think it's also getting older over the years.
True.
Some of the beauty of those early Octomores was wait for peter as heavily as you could, into a barrel for as short as you possibly could till it tastes something like whiskey, and then get it out.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fan of the 10-year-old Octomores because I think like they taste too much like whiskey. If I want to drink 10-year-old Octomore, I'll go drink Port Charlotte, right, for half the price.
Yeah. Do you know what I've got? I've got a 25% stake in a private cask, which is a Port Charlotte, which is now, I think, 17 years old.
Is there any?
I don't know. We were meant to go to Scotland 2 years ago and bottle it. That hasn't happened. So,
quick g'day to, speaking of Scotland, to Mark Westmoreland, friend of the stream, big daddy of the stream, may I say, from the Wolfburn Distillery. So many places to visit when I can get on my next visit. Certainly whetting my appetite.
Oh, nice. I wouldn't mind tasting that. Yeah.
Yep. And talking of heavily peated stuff, some of the heavily peated new make coming out of Wolfburn is unbelievable.
Mark, you'd be very proud. I pulled your bottle off the back bar today when I was doing some filming. So, plug for you. It was also the closest one and the bottle that I loved the most. So that's why I grabbed it.
It's awesome.
It's not hard to sponsor this stream, is it?
It is not. No, pick my friends.
Well, hold on. And this is what I love about the audience we have here. We're getting a challenge here.
That's right.
Is it Port Charlotte or is it actually a Lockendale?
Oh.
2 casks.
Of Lockendale.
So I've got a share in the PC cask, but I own the Lockendale outright. G'day, Derek from Scotland.
All right, so this is different. So we need to talk about that Lockendale cask.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now is whiskey's matured in ex-Lockendale casks. Add $50 to it. So
this is going to help our expansion of the distillery, isn't it?
You're sitting below the Death Star for a reason, isn't it? For those playing at home, Lockendale is a now discontinued style of peated whiskey from Brookladdick. Just like Port Charlotte, Octomore, and Brookladdick all come from the one distillery. Lockendale was a style they made that they don't make anymore. So those barrels and whiskies are very, very rare. Todd.
Yes.
You touched upon you used to your wives used to work together back in the past, and you came across this weird guy. Like, can you go back to that first conversation? And how weird, like, who is pushing who? Is Crafty looking for free labor, or are you looking to work for free and get involved in whiskey? Like, talk to me through that dynamic.
It just, I guess, the reconnect was Kathy and Crafty at a Christmas party. And
don't all the best things happen at Christmas parties? Sorry, Todd. Yeah, I just had to jump in there. So many good ideas come from Christmas parties.
At the time, I was getting more excited about distilling and what I'd need to do to try and to learn this art. It just so happened that Crafty was well down the track of setting up his distillery, and this was the main topic of the conversation over the Christmas party. So we were invited out to the shed. Finally got out there, and one thing led to another, and then we've pretty much been working together ever since.
Sounds like a love story.
It does. And
especially when it says one thing led to another.
and on that note, Alex, when Todd, you arrive in Capertine, I've been to Capertine. It's a lovely town. I've driven through it many times. There's not a huge amount. There's a pub. There's a couple of stores that are closed, and there's now Craftworks out the back. When you rock up to this shit, I'm going to guess the first time you rock up, it's 60 square meters rather than 120 square meters.
Yeah.
And you rock up, like, is Crafty sort of like sitting on the table, David Brent style, or is he like with a dram? Like, what is that first impression you get of Crafty standing in a shed?
Middle of winter, remember?
It was in the middle of winter, bloody freezing.
Yeah.
So my first impression was he was lying in all the photographs he was taking of his huge shed. I walk into this cupboard, and at the time, I think you only had the IB barrels down. So that
there's only a
was
few
only-
IB
there's only
barrels.
like 7 barrels in this whole big shed, so it looked pretty vacant.
And so, what does Crafty tell you to convince you that this is a good idea at that point in time?
By that time, we were just passing by, and he was saying, "Oh, this is my shed. This is my still." It was bright and shiny and new at that stage. And he'd just finished doing a run, I think, on it.
Yeah.
So we sort of got to experience new make for the first time, which was an interesting experience. His new make, which is even different.
Todd, you're going to have to help me out here, mate. Like, give me something juicy. So
we want the dirt, man.
I'm back. Like, get me to that crux. When did you decide that the man sitting next to you, to your left, to our right, is someone that you want to spend many, many hours with in a shed by yourselves?
Okay.
When he lied about the size of his shed?
After he lied, don't they all lie?
And
Yeah. I'm more guilty than most.
and fucked up quite a lot, and continued to fuck up quite a lot.
That's like most men. That's fine.
So from that initial meeting, I think it was probably a couple of weeks later, Crafty phoned us up out of the blue saying, "Hey, mate, I really need a hand. I'm trying to."
I don't remember that. Okay.
It was
Carry on.
You needed a hand to try and make your first wash, I think, in the shed.
Shit, was it that long ago?
That was that long ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
And I went, "Oh, yeah, I'm free that weekend." So I popped out, and from there, it did actually just develop into something that we do.
It's a true love.
True love.
And there's nothing in this world like whiskey love.
As they
Absolutely.
say, everyone needs a good laugh, and
But are you laughing with or at, or like what is the?
Okay, so
Just remember he's free, okay? He's free. It's really important to remember that.
a lot of the time it's at, and then it's also with.
Yeah.
So we've had some good times. We've learned a lot together. I've learned a lot by watching what Crafty gets away with. And yeah, it's just been a good experience.
Yeah. But also, in all honesty, Todd's been a rock, and a creative soundboard. So we bounce off each other. It's a very, very creative process. To me, whiskey making is a very creative process. There's a science behind it. There's a technology. There's a process and everything else. But it's a creative thing that just really just pushes the buttons. And so we spend a lot of time, discussing what we can do, what we can't do. We create things, and we look back and go, well, 1 o'clock in the morning is probably not the best time to go and bring 2 barrels together, and then wake up in the morning and go,
Why the hell did we do that? So.
Stuff like that happens. Well, not so much now.
No,
We're a bit more organized now.
Excellent segue, and a quick g'day to Vicky Darlenberg, official mum of the stream.
Hi, Mum.
Alex hasn't sworn as far as I can tell tonight, so no one's done a shot yet. So we're all very, very good.
Twice, 3 times. I actually said after last week I was going to try and behave myself.
But my button's ready. Excellent segue. Creativity. 1 a.m. in whatever day you're doing that in. You've, as the Craftworks distillery or the Craftworks Whiskey Company, been through a series of IBs, and that's going to continue. Last year we had the first release in I Am, and when we spoke about that, we weren't sure what the next thing was going to be. Was I Am going to continue? Was it going to stop? What is the? Sorry, I've got it. Yeah, Alex. A quick shout out to Daniel Hoper from Dubbo, one of a friend of the Alex Reality Check's manager is in this comment.
I'd say Mum's the dreamer, and I'm probably the reality check in that relationship. Anyway, continue.
I don't normally stop halfway. I normally look at the comments and be like, I can get back to that, but that was too good. I have to get stopped. So we didn't know what was going to happen next. We're now almost like 4, 5, almost 6 months down the track from that first release.
Yeah.
Do we have any insight of what is the creativity happening now at Craftworks in terms of the stuff you've distilled and is now getting to that age of maturity?
Yeah, look, we've got definitely got some clarity around that now. So I Am is a style of whiskey that we're going to make, and I Am is a storytelling brand. It's actually trademarked. So Ryan, I've forgotten his name, Marshman, did a big thing about I am, will I am, and all that sort of thing.
For those playing at home, famously from the Australian Whisky Facebook page, one of the greatest palates in Australia, but also one of the greatest shit stirrers.
Yeah,
Oh,
you think?
Far out.
Anyway, so yeah, he was right. We trademarked I am, because I saw I am as something very, very powerful in storytelling. You know, I am ... I am sharing. I am ... giving this to a friend. I am drinking this. I think it's shit. So we had a creative session 3 weeks ago.
Over Easter.
Yeah, over Easter. And we were trying to work out the next name. And we put them all up on the board. One was I am ... Brian. Thought, yeah, that's got sort of limited appeal. My preference was I am ... What was the question anyway? But that didn't float. So the name, and we were actually working on what is I am now, started pulling casks, is I am ... to TOO ... That's the name.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So I'm going to say, like,
All right.
Brian might
should have consulted better. Outside the shed, perhaps.
Give you a gold nugget. Shut up.
This is sounding like suspiciously like some 1 a.m. shit right here. So I am too, as in we all are.
It's a story. It's a story. You tell us.
No, I don't fucking know. So
I am too confused.
Yeah, there we are. That's one.
I am too drunk.
Never. I would never put myself in that position.
Okay, for that, I reckon, Crafty, I've seen, for those at home, I'm holding up some of Crafty's labeling. And I kid you not, like, it's some of the most expressive whiskey labeling going around in Australia at the moment.
Oh, wow.
And I think that a lot of it, this one, I fucking love this one.
So okay.
Okay. I also have an obsession with Tokay casks. But I feel like this entire distillery is running on the right brain, on all of the creative side. And where does a lot of this fucking inspiration, there you go, take your shot. Where does all this inspiration come from?
I wasn't ready. Hold on.
Sorry. Are you ready now? Are you ready?
No, I didn't have my graphic ready. I normally have it on speed dial, but I didn't have it ready.
I thought you wanted to beat me out.
I can only have two hands tonight. So.
All right, take a shot, everyone, I swore.
Hold up Rage, and I'll tell you about Rage. That's a good one.
Yeah.
A quick shout out to Emma Gilligan, who says, how many drams deep was this decision, Crafty? And I think the best, and I think you should add this to the list, is the big daddy of the stream from like probably in my top 2 new distilleries in Scotland is Mark Westmoreland, who says, I am not going to lie.
Good man.
That's a lot of connotations.
Yeah, I like it.
It's batshit crazy, Crafty, and that's why I've always loved what you do and what you put out. Definitely from afar sometimes, as in like I haven't been to your distillery yet, but I love it. You run your own show, you do your own thing, and I feel that you're on this amazing journey, and I think I Am's going to be probably the next stage in it. So tell me where your inspiration for all of these crazy fucking labels come from.
They all come from, so Tokay OK. Tokay OK came from, it was a Tokay wine cask, and actually put that together right smack in the middle of the New South Wales fires.
Okay.
So I was in the shed. So I was on my own then because, we were pretty much under direct threat. And so I'm in the shed and I've got the Tokay in a vat and I'm mixing it around and tasting, and I go outside and I see smoke one way, I see smoke another way, and I see smoke another way. We're surrounded in fire. So Tokay OK was about okay, we got through. Okay, we're okay. And it's not a phoenix, it's a cockatoo.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's a very vibrant, bright label, a lot of color. And that is, for me, it just sort of captures the moment, the okay. And it's, each label means something. And it comes from the actual spirit and the experience of tasting in the barrel and pulling out the barrel. Rage, classic Rage. Todd and I were tasting it, and I taste it out of the barrel, and I go, oh, Rage, and then you go, Rage, like, the ABC Rage.
Should I get that now?
That's where Rage came from. But the most iconic one so far is probably Scotty. You got your T-shirt on, the Black Soul Beast T-shirt.
Yes, and I'd like to add, you also look like you
don't flash the camera.
So just stand up a little bit. My 8-year-old daughter at the time designed Black Soul Beast, and we got it, and she knows how to spell black at the time. And I go, Ab, why's it B-L-A-K? And she just went, I don't know. We gave it to a designer. They corrected the spelling and tidied it all up and lined it all up. We went, no, go back to what it is. So that was the iconic release. And that actually won a bronze ranking in London Spirits in 2019, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's an IB release, that one. Yeah.
Do you know how much trouble I'd normally get into for doing that on a live stream?
Well, show the undies, the Black Soul Beast undies.
No.
You got. Come on.
Oh, actually, really? Is there such thing?
We are having an inundation of people commenting on what their IMs are.
Go for it. That's what it's about.
That's half the reason why we called it I Am, is to try and pull people into the story.
So we had I Am Not Going to Lie. We had Raymond P. Ratz, which says I am waiting to savour mine, the only sensible voice I've heard on this stream tonight. Daniel Hopper says I am trying to get out to Kappa T. Any other I Ams I would like to hear from. Kai Lane is having a bit of fun. I probably won't put his one up on the official stream, but you can.
He said he's shit-faced.
Alex swore that. Is that count as a swear?
I am not Ian.
I am
not Ian. Yeah. That has a story behind it too. So can I tell you the story about that? Because it's okay. So before we released I Am, right, I took this photo, and I have my thumb over the I Am, and I get a phone call from a good mate of mine, Ed from OCD Distilling, right? And he goes, so who the fuck's Ian? And I go, what? I go, who the fuck's Ian? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, it's on your label. So this is someone who's very important to you. And he knew everything about Craftworks, right? So I clicked straight away, and I went, mate, I can't talk. Got to go. And then for the next 2.5 months, we taunted Ed with videos. Project Ian. People were drinking. We were taking little videos and going, hi, I'm not Ian, or my name's such and such. And then you'd yell out the side, hey, Ian, and it'd turn around. So it was sort of the build up to I Am. And then Scotty, when we released on the night, and we said what Ian was, but Ed guessed it the day before, the bugger. So
yeah, we did our best, but there's a crafty little so and so that one.
Yeah,
wonderful. Can I go? So right. So tell me, what are your stills? What are you running on?
So
as I say, Crafty, talk dirty to me. Talk to me about your copper.
All right, this is full copper porn. So this is a 970 litre still, 30 kilowatts of power, electric, shell and tube condenser, descending line arm, and built by Burnsy. Yep. We want the spirit to run fast. We don't want a lot of reflux. Built by Burnsy from Burns Welding Fabrication. So very good friend of mine who is a distiller.
At the what? And how do you pronounce it?
Aisling?
There's no G.
Oh, geez, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I really am. He's going to.
I'm going to have to text this message, this stream to them now. It's like, get on. He's murdering your name.
Don't worry. He calls me Turkey Brain anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I am.
But he honestly, he's one of my mentors. I love the guy to bits. He's helped me out of holes. I can ring him anytime. You know, if I've rung him up in the middle of the night when I've tripped and ripped the cable out of my mill, he didn't even sell me the mill, and he tells me how to rewire it at 1 a.m. You know, he's that sort of guy. So the still is fantastic. She's called Sunflower Still Number 1. I love sunflowers. Andrea, my wife, loves sunflowers, and my daughter Abby loves sunflowers. We potentially, hopefully soon, we're going to have Sunflower Still Number 2, which is going to be another Burnsy still, a smaller one, specifically column still for gin, doing seasonal liqueurs and a few other bits and bobs too.
Right. So that's interesting. You can have 2 stills, but you didn't go the way of having a spirit and a wash still. You're going the way of having a 1 spirit / wash still and then having a column still for other. Correct.
Yeah, because we do a little bit of gin, not a lot. And the reason we do gin is because of our good friends Nick and Ali at Carew Distillery. You know, we've done a lot of we're good mates. You know, we share a lot of information. We've done a barrel aged gin. Yeah, there they are. Awesome. They're awesome. And they've helped very much with the development of Craftworks gin. I've learned a hell of a lot about gin from those guys. And so they're my gin mentor, and I'm a bit of their whiskey mentor, which is pretty flattering because I haven't been in the game long. So yeah, that's a big part of how we operate. You know, we're big on collaboration and sharing information and just the community. We love the spirits community. You know, there's some good people in this industry.
So, Alex, you next or am I next?
No, you go, babe.
So we've spoken about the concept that I Am is going to continue.
Yeah.
But in real terms, from a consumer point of view, for a retailer's point of view, what is next for Craftworks? Because I know you've still got a few like independent bottling casks that you source from other places. So I like to say it's still the start of 2021. It's not. We're almost halfway through it. What's happening for the rest of the year for Craftworks?
Yeah, really good question, Scotty. So I Am 2 is coming out. It's the same sort of backbone as I Am, except for the addition of 2 old wood PX sherry casks that are going to be included in the mix, which means it's going to be a lighter expression, a more elegant, and it's going to be a lower ABV. We released I Am cask because that's where we started our journey, but the next one's going to be sort of mid-50s, we think, and we're working on that now. After that, we'll probably switch up back to an IB release. So I've got casks, so Youngie casks, Andrew Young casks, filled with Tin Shed Spirit. I've got it filled with Fluorio before they became famous. And
they are very famous now. So
yes, exactly. We've got 2 older casks, which are about 4.5 years, which was our original supply of new make from an unknown distillery. What else we got on the IB side? That's it, really. Oh, a bit of Riverbourne, which will go into probably the next Capity release. We're sort of working on that. So the Capity is our cellar door release mainly. And then we got some interesting casks. We've got a cider cask coming up, which we're interested in. And then we've got Black Soul Beast Refill, which is coming along very nicely. That'll probably be, that baby. So that's been filled with our new make spirit. And then the cask that Todd and I've got, which is half his celery. So do you want to talk about that cask? What that one is?
It's a honey cask. So it's
PX honey.
Yep. PX cask has had honey stored in it for a period of time, and it's just about to turn 2 years. So it's just about to turn whiskey, and it's tasting really good at the moment.
But it's a bit of a mindfuck because
you're fucking telling me, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Fucking
honey cask is a mindfuck. Gee, wouldn't have thought about that. Gee.
Yeah, but it's got a waxy note to it. And we don't know, is it because it's, it's just...
So you're telling me it's a Clynelish cask rather than a honey cask? If it's waxy and honey, it's probably come from Clongleash at some point of its life.
No, it's an old wood PX cask that had honey in. We managed to
watered down honey, or just talk to me about the honey that you put into it. What was this?
Well, we didn't put the honey in. It's someone who was importing casks, and they had a couple of unusual ones, and this was one that we thought this will be interesting. And so when Todd and I were talking earlier in the piece, I said, mate, let's just do a cask. We'll split it down the middle because I can't pay you, but this is my way to do something. And so that was, the 2 years ago we filled that. And Black Soul Beast Reborn, that's definitely coming. And that's very different than the original Black Soul.
Some of the special new techniques that we use on this particular cask is every time I go to the shed, I touch this barrel and say, you're turning into the best whiskey in the shed. So
oh, that's cute.
You talk to your whiskey and it becomes a really precious thing. So,
and you got to remember,
it's like the love story about two people, then 4 people, then about 17,000 other casks and bits, and not casks, like staves and bits in the distillery that you guys are talking to.
You got to remember though, when you're making whiskey, you're making decisions for 4 years down the track, right? So 4 years ago, it was one cask at a time. And so we've got a lot of one casks at a time, and each one of them is different. We now understand IAM and that signature profile on IAM. We understand the DNA that we're getting in our new make, which is fantastic. To get that, we're really excited because it's going through a lot of casks. But we're also going to be looking at different styles of whiskey as well. I mean, today my ute is parked at home. It's sagging a bit. I've got a ton of smoked malt on the back. First smoked malt, Voyager, smoked.
It's really good to do burnouts in it now.
I just got it. This is my new ute.
No, but with all, Oh, sorry.
No, that's my new ute.
But also talking about sagging, Todd is still sitting quite up in his seat. Crafty.
Crafty's getting lower.
This
is as usual. He'll get his phone out shortly and he'll be just texting away. Just ignore the rest of us.
Very important question. What kind of ute did you just get?
Oh, okay. So, so first of all, my original vehicle, Holden Rodeo, I am so emotionally attached to it because I have hauled malt across the Blue Mountains for the last 3 years. It's had no aircon.
Was it a 1-ton Rodeo?
It was, but I had to fit it. I had to fit it with airbags to do it.
Shut up! So you were like,
but no aircon, no heating, no radio, and Bluetooth. Forget that. Anyway, so an opportunity opened up, and I've got a.
It's only one Tony Lockett.
That's AFL. So I've got a second-hand 2010 Isuzu DMX 4-wheel drive diesel, fully decked out for the country, bull bars, real bull bars, not paint-on ones like my Rodeo.
5-poster?
5-poster? What's a 5-poster?
You don't even know. Not even worthy of a bull bar.
Oh, this thing will take out half the country. It's huge. And I've got a CB unit. What the hell's that thing do?
A CB radio?
Yeah.
You talk to the truckies. They're so much fun.
Are they, Alex, really?
Yeah, really.
Even I know what a CB radio is. On that note, I want to bring in excellent friend of the feed, and actually while we were doing our recap last week, I think it was last week, the original guest, Peter Hollywood Bignall, says, Crafty, tell us about your eau de vie. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, awesome. So Pete rang me up last night, and I
love Pete.
I sent him a sample of IAM, Vatman, which is a collab thing I'm doing with Marty from Riverbourne, and I sent him a bottle of eau de vie, which was a project we did with a winery 3 years ago, maybe. They wanted to distill some Pinot Noir, and this was Artemis Wines in Mittagong. Yeah, I know. Top guys too.
Excellent Pinot.
So they came down the shed, and I said, yeah, come down. So they came down and we distilled it, and I learned a bit about eau de vie, and I wanted to do it anyway. So I got some cider off them and distilled it. It's good, except for no one really knows what eau de vie is, and it sort of sits on the shelf a little bit. Makes fantastic cocktails and hot toddies, but I sent a bottle to Pete, and he really enjoyed it. So yeah, it was pretty good. I'm quite chuffed that he enjoyed it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And we have our own radio chat going on within the Facebook chat here today. So that's interesting. There was a question I was going to ask, Alex, and then I totally forgot about it when it got onto radios. Do you remember? Could you mind read for me what my question was about to ask?
Sorry, the earphones are like blocking my telepathy.
Okay.
However, I'd like to jump into something that you may or may not be able to do, Crafty.
What?
Answer quickly in one-word answers.
Oh, let's go. Let's bring it. Hang on.
Challenge.
Are you good to go to some Proust questions or Proust questions, Scotty?
Mate, I have them all lined up, but I want to see.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see the Todd answer before Crafty.
Yep, done.
Under pressure.
In every single instance.
Where's your buzzer?
No, it's more like mute button.
There's my buzzer.
Yeah. All right. Scotty, you go first.
I'm going to start you off easy. When do you lie about? Oh, so when do you look? What do you look for in a whiskey?
I look for.
No.
I'm supposed to go first.
Oh, I thought it was. We had to compete. Oh.
No,
Say it again.
If it's a competition, we know who's going to win. It's a very convivial, enjoyable stream. We're all meant to be mates here now. Like in whiskey, we're not competing against each other. We're all meant to be friends, mate.
I knew this would be fucking wonderful. This is amazing.
So,
calm. Settle down, everyone. Right, carry on.
The Todd, what do you look for in a whiskey?
Spiciness.
Ooh. Copy that.
Also, please define.
I've just a little bit of how do you define sweet edge? Yeah, just something that's a little bit different that makes it stand out from just a bit of length.
Oh, I don't know. That's my answer. Length. I always look for length.
This isn't length. Yours is candy floss.
No, I like length. I like length as well.
I was going to say, clearly not in the size of sheds.
That's a real joke. That might be the first real joke made on Roundtable in a year and a week.
And I made it. I'm not funny. That's hilarious.
This is the end of days. The world is imploding.
All right.
Craig? Yes. Who?
Craig. Crafty.
What do you look for in a whiskey?
No, seriously, I do look for length. To me, a whiskey, what pisses me off with some whiskeys, they can be really, really flavoursome, but then they just die in the arse straight away. And that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves about what we do at Craftworks. We have a lot of length of flavour. We know why. And it's, because it's the journey. The taste journey just continues and evolves. And if you have a whiskey that's very short, it's like you're missing half the party.
So tell me, I've had a lot of whiskies in this past, decade that I've been seriously drinking whiskey. Some of them have been simple, some have been complex, some have been short, some have been long. Why does the Craftworks whiskey have length? Is it production? Is it maturation? Is it what is it?
I think one of the big things is filtration. So our level of filtration is very, very, let's just say basic. And there's a lot of fats and oils and flock. And that carries flavor. It really carries flavor. And the analogy I use is it's like a gravy pan, the burnt bits on a gravy pan. Take, for example, Overeem, flock shots, which is just concentrated flock. When you taste concentrated flock, oh my God, it's just huge flavors and length. It just keeps going. So I think filtration's a big part, but I also think our still, we take very, very wide cuts. We're not looking for a really, really tight cut and a very clean spirit. We're actually after some dirtiness. And you're picking up your residuals on some of your faints, your heavier oils and that. And I think that carries through and adds a lot of length of flavor.
Like, really interesting. I've heard some like conflicting concepts on filtration in various forms. And we ran a tasting here at the Oak Barrel last week.
Yep.
With the Scottish distillery that has whiskies at 40% that are chill filtered and 46% that aren't.
Yeah.
And the unanimous opinion that the 40% chill filtered was the better whiskey.
Yeah, right.
Because of the brightness and
clarity
clarity of flavors. So I think, I love Springbank. I love, those old school styles. So actually, like, that's a really interesting concept that you're bringing up there. And I think it's been a bit in the not the news, but whatever you call the chat this week. And I really want to dive into that. That's my goal for the next month, to learn as much as I can about filtration, what it actually does.
I would add something though, Scotty. You're taking something that's got a longer maturation, a Scottish whiskey. Australian whiskies are bright by very nature that they're young. So I think personally, and this is just my own opinion, I think at lower levels of filtration in younger whiskies, you can have a very bright whiskey that still has that length of flavour.
Yeah, 100%. And Peter Bignell coming in here saying, I can definitely taste the later cut in I Am.
Did I go too far, Pete? Oops.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. I'm sure it's a good thing. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm on this journey now. I've spoken to one Australian distiller who says that they chill filter some of their whiskies and they don't chill filter another one of their whiskies at the exact same ABV. One tastes better and one tastes worse at the certain thing. So I think it's a really interesting point. But I love that you brought it up, because I love the learning and the discovery, and not everything's black and white, right? We need to keep talking about that. All right. That was my one. Alex, do you have a Proust questionnaire question?
Yeah. When do you lie about whiskey?
You love that question.
That's your one. And I can have a think.
You always make it my one.
No, well, you answer it. I'll think about the answer, then I'll come in with a better answer. That's how it works, doesn't it? When do you lie about whiskey?
Is it when you say you're getting paid to work in whiskey?
No. When do you lie about whiskey? That's a really interesting question.
I think it's about...
Define lie.
Well, when you're not telling the truth.
We're not talking about lying down in bed together.
Not telling the truth.
It's LIE.
I'd say it's probably, I'm really enjoying carrying these bags of grain around.
Oh, I know. I know it. No, I've got it.
That's probably the best answer. The bag of grain is probably the best answer.
Yeah, I think you got it, bugger. No, my one is when home distillers come into the shed. And I've had one that came in and goes, mate, pull your roller door down. You're going to get caught. You're too open. People can see what you're up to. And I go, no, it's okay. I'm licensed. But I get home distillers come in with their samples and they go, try this. And sometimes you're rather nervous because you don't know if they understand what comes off the still at first. No, you don't keep that. You need to get rid of that because it's window cleaner. And I have tasted some stuff which has really been quite awful. And you look them in the eye and they go, what do you think? And you go, nice. Yep. You keep going, sort of thing. But honestly, I've had some great stuff as well, to be honest. I really have.
Okay.
Peter Bignell says, lie, it's just a small taste, is when he lies. Kai Lane likes to lie about the cost of the whiskey when unmarked boxes keep arriving via Ozpost. Yep, that's another good one. Also, running back to another comment, Peter Bignell said, late cuts bring out more smoke and chocolate. And I think
he's so right.
That's right. And that's some of the reason why we try to go a bit late, just to get the chocolatey notes.
So we have chocolate malt as one of our malts in the mash bill. And you're right on the line with your cuts. You can go to wet cardboard so easily, but the chocolate comes out late, and we're always pushing just to try and get that chocolate and cut before we actually switch into that wet cardboard, because that's not good. But that's one of our signatures of the I am type profile, using roasted malts and base malts. The chocolate, over the years we've played around with the chocolate. It used to be more up front, and now it's more in the back on the palate. And that's where we want it to be.
Yeah. My turn, Alex.
Yeah, go for it.
But this is fear that, and I like, we may not. We're meant to go for an hour, and we're coming up to that close. We may not be able to like stop for another half an hour if I ask this question. But I feel like it's
biscuit to the biscuit.
Crafty was born to answer in his concept and the way he approaches the whiskey industry. And I'm asking for one name here, Craig and Todd. I'll let you go second to this one. Who do you most admire?
In Australia or?
No. That's the question. You have to in your mind decipher the question how you would answer it. This is the point of these questions.
Okay. Who was the most?
I know what I'm going to say, but I think that.
Who do I admire? Burnsy. He is.
For the stream, his full name, please.
Mark Burns.
There we go.
Burns Welding Fabrication.
Distillery he works for.
Hey? Oh, Aisling or Oozling.
His phone number and house address.
He's on my speed dial. I don't know any numbers. I don't know yours, Scotty. I don't even know mine. So, no, honestly, because I've got mentors that have helped me. Marty Pye, Riverbourne Distillery, amazing friend, amazing mentor. Brian from Blackgate Distillery, amazing mentor, helped me. But Burnsy he's always been there, whether it's the middle of the night, and you go through some pretty shitty times. You really do. Your ferments aren't working, your yields are down, you can't work out what's going on. And Burnsy has always just been there for me. So I'm going to get emotional now. But yeah, no.
Staring up over in the corner.
I gave you half an hour, mate, because I knew it was going to happen.
But yeah, no, it sort of, I think that's honestly, absolutely. So yeah, does that answer it? Now you try and beat that one. That's a tough one to beat, isn't it?
A tough one.
I think he's gonna smash this. I might know where the Todd's gonna go with it.
Money's on Todd. I'm offering 3-1 odds on Todd right now.
Yeah.
Can I try the optimal? Which one?
Oh, yeah, you can try the optimal.
Right, that's your question. Come on, stop stalling.
I was going to stop stuttering.
Stalling.
I was going to say Jim McEwen.
Oh, well, that was my fallback.
That's who I thought you were. I thought you were going to go then.
That's why I was going to go international, but I wasn't allowed to go international.
You did not say that. You said, "Who is your?"
That's an unfair question. Sorry,
Anyway,
little tiff here in Craftworks. Short answer, keep going.
No, you got me all confused.
No, I'm not talking to you anymore.
The joys of working in a small shed.
Jim McEwen is a huge answer.
Yeah.
Mark Burns, you're better than Jim McEwen, or you're at least as good as Jim McEwen in Crafty's eyes. We have solved a mystery. We don't know where he is. We don't know where he was, but he's come back.
Oh, hello.
And he's sending his love from Adelaide, and he forgot his headphones. That's why we couldn't get him onto the stream.
What about his T-shirt? Is he wearing his T-shirt? Come on, I need to know. It cost me.
We found Wally. Milne. All right, we got one last question really quickly.
Yeah.
P.S. We miss you, Milne. We really do. Come back to us. Oh, fuck off, Scotty. We do love him. We miss him. What phrase do you most overuse when talking about whiskey? Make it quick.
I am a craft worker, therefore I am.
And again, you failed. Todd, that was your first question.
In the scoring, Todd's like 3-1 up at the moment, so you can't lose. You can answer whatever you want right now. This is like joining the European Super League. You can't lose at the moment.
Smooth.
We're all about humanizing the art.
Yes, humanizing the art of whiskey. We do that one to death.
Yeah. That's said in the shed multiple times throughout the day.
Yeah.
But hold on, wait. Okay, so, okay. I believe that, but Todd, do you say that?
I say it. Yeah.
It's a touchstone for us.
It's the touchstone at the cellar door.
Okay, but say, okay, there's no one else in the shed. I'm re-ramping this question. I quite understand that. There's no one else in the shed. It's production day. What word do you most overuse when you're there with Crafty, just hanging out, waiting for runs to finish, waiting for mashes to get up to temperature, like all that sort of stuff?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, for fuck's sake comes up a bit, yes, but no.
So that would be fuck, probably, because you say that word more.
Yeah.
We're looking for one word here.
It is, where's fucking Crafty?
and is at the pub the second phrase?
No.
No. So just picture this. The still has just started to run in a spirit run. We're coming along. We're getting to the first cut. Crafty, just got to pop out and make a quick phone call. Okay. How do you make a cut? That's how I made my first cut. So, followed by the second cut after that, because the quick phone call wasn't overly quick.
This is amazing, guys. I don't think I have actually laughed so hard on a round table to the point that I snorted when I was laughing. Wow, guys. You two have just been an absolute breath of fresh air. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Why didn't I put that full screen? How did I miss that?
What?
That's A1 content.
It is.
Yeah, but I missed it. I missed it completely.
Yeah,
you need to warn me before you do these things.
I've been very funny tonight. I'm just going to live off the one joke I made on stream.
To be fair, it's the only proper joke that anyone's ever made in, what are we talking, like 57 weeks?
I still don't quite understand what I did that made it such a big joke. Anyway, don't worry about it.
It took like a concept and like then let it sit on that concept and get like the punchline was an add-on to that concept, not just like a little sarcastic thing like I do, just like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. It like you thought about it, you delivered it, it punched it. It was just and I was like, oh yeah. It was the only real joke ever made.
It was all about the timing.
So this is our lawyer who's going to get us off the fact that we just streamed Disney material for an hour.
Oh, guys, that's well and truly.
Can I introduce you to this man?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have a little pet project, a passion project, which has evolved, which is called Australian Craft Distillers Shooting the Shit. And basically, that's what we do. And we talk to distillers and shoot the shit. So Luke is
I press the buttons.
He pressed the buttons. He's a distiller. He's a brewer.
I'm a passionate enthusiast.
A passionate enthusiast. So we just shoot the shit. We've done it with, like last week it was with Lee Atwood from Backwoods, a good friend of ours.
Friend of the stream.
Peter Bignell's going to be doing it soon. We interviewed Ned Gahan, Waterford Distillery in Ireland, and we shot the shit for 2 hours, and it went on after that. And
isn't that brand dead in Australia, unfortunately?
What?
Isn't that brand dead in Australia, unfortunately?
So anyway, it's another thing that we've got our finger in that, and to us, it's just about the industry, the passion of the industry, and getting the stories out, which is what you guys do exactly. So,
yeah, Crafty, let's get to the point here. When do I need to search localnerd.com.au? Is my
right about now? www.
Oh. At what point?
Did you notice that?
When my computer is not working, when my tires are flat, like what localnerd.com.au do?
What are your services?
We do everything IT. Everything IT. We are nerds, and we're just around the corner. So just give us a buzz.
Any corner, your corner, their corner.
We're open to all of it.
We're sitting in different corners, funnily enough.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They can go to any corner.
I'll find your corner.
So we have been experiencing some technical difficulties. Thanks, Scotty. You might have got replaced, babe.
Almost every week, every episode of our podcast. There's one where Crafty wasn't even present, so that was fun.
Yeah.
We were chatting with Mobius, and we had Crafty on the phone, literally on the phone, on the big phone.
Now, guys, when
late.
what time and when do you do these shooting the shit?
We do them now every second week. So the next one is Corowa, Mr.
Awesome.
Dean Bruce. Yeah, so
Fantastic.
Dean is going to be doing it.
That's next week.
We better get organised.
Yep, but also like a week's quite a long time. Can you narrow that down a little bit?
We tend to do it on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah, thereabouts.
We'll put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, we're starting to get a bit more organised. So we've done Derwent Distillery, which was really cool.
Hobart,
Youngie,
OCD,
Youngie, Joe Edger.
What that man doesn't know about wood isn't worth knowing.
Yeah.
Oh, we can just. I can keep going with all of.
Oh, it's another joke. It's another joke coming.
You're
building for another joke. Come on.
Anyway, no.
So if you follow us on the Facebook page, Aussie Craft Distillers Shooting the Shit, well, you can find us on there.
And he's just happy to be a YouTuber. It makes him so happy to be a YouTuber.
It'll be great when we hit 5,000 followers and we actually make money off it. That might be nice.
Oh,
it'll be great when we hit 50.
It'll be great when we hit 50.
Like, mate, I know you're shooting the shit, but like they're shooting high and like, believable. Let's be quite honest. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you. Well, it's been a pleasure for me. I don't know. It's probably been a fucking torture for you guys watching. But, I'd like to say thank you to Alex, my only lone remaining member of the Whisky Roundtable. Now everyone's forsaken me.
I do just want to sign off and say thank you so much, Crafty. I've been a big fan for a long time. I love what you guys do. You just do you, and that is something that's so special.
Thanks, Alex.
So thank you, and keep doing you, boo.
Can't do anything different, so.
Thank you so much, and I have had so much fun tonight. This has made the rest of my day, so thank you.
Oh, awesome.
Good to see
everyone.
You. Great.
Go home, be safe, and next time we get on with these two, I reckon it might be in 12 months' time, so about a year's, we will finally discover Todd's last name. No one knows it. Didn't mention it. No one's ever thought about it before, but we might actually figure out Todd's last name in the next game.
I don't think he's got one. No.
No, sorry, I lie. It's called Todd. His first name is The.
Now, guys, we're taking next week off, and then we are coming back on the 5th of May with the wonderful Christy Lark.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. So just a FYI, I'm flying to Melbourne tomorrow to do some meetings, and we're going to have some dinner tomorrow night at Meola in Melbourne together. So that's super exciting. And then she's on the stream on the 5th of May.
Cool. Very cool.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
For anyone wondering what I'm doing tomorrow, I'm just going to go to work, and I'm just going to probably get home and cook some soup, and maybe just get some bread rolls and dip the soup into the bread rolls. But just in case everyone is wondering as much as what Alex is doing tomorrow night, that they're, what I'm doing tomorrow night, just in case.
There'll be some liquid involved somewhere in the process, though, wouldn't there?
Hopefully big bustling Bassa can join me. All right, this has gone on way too